Hi all, it's John here from Sphere Fitness. Just wanted to record a quick answer to a question I get asked a lot about training in season, particularly when it comes to the health championship side of things. There's quite a lot of breaks in the season, and you might feel inclined, I'll just leave the gym work, or I'll leave the extra few sessions off outside of my club training nights and the match on Saturday or Sunday. Well, hold your horses, because there's a lot of reasons why I wouldn't advise that. Number one, injury prevention. There are certain areas which are kind of like red spots or hot points where we would focus our training in terms of injury prevention. Now, for something like recurrent hamstring pulls, that would be the lower back, making that nice and strong for rugby players, the neck, and other areas like ankle and knee prevention as well. So they are very, very important. Only just a couple of sets, a couple of times a week will pay dividends in terms of keeping you injury free throughout the season. Secondly, the method maintenance. So all that work you've done, in terms of pre-season and out of season, all the work you've done on putting on muscle or building your strength and power, it can go to waste if you do not keep some form of stimulus alive throughout the season. That can be as simple as just a couple of times a week, 30 to 40 minutes. It's up to you to kind of auto-regulate as an athlete. And what I mean by that is how you feel. If you feel like you go whole hog, go whole hog. If you can't feel it, just take a step back and drop the volume. So if your program, says do 3 sets or 4 sets, maybe only do a couple of sets. Warm up to it, then do a couple of work sets. Job done. Move on to the next exercise. But your total session really should not be eaten into the quality of training, particularly on the pitch, or especially come 2:30 kickoff on a Saturday. You should never ever eat into that. The next thing is the mental edge. I always used to love, when I stood against my opposite number, I knew I'd done more than him in the run up to the game on the Saturday. And it was a big edge for me personally, but it's something I beat into all my athletes. What have you done extra? Just something extra, something a little bit crazy, something a little bit silly, like you got up and made yourself a crazy breakfast or bought yourself a packed lunch. Just something that's giving you the edge, the mental edge. It gives you confidence, gives you purpose, and when you get to the kickoff, you know that you're throwing or whatever, you know that you've done a little bit more than your opposition. Secondly, quality over quantity. So like I've just touched on there, a couple of sets done really well with good intensity and good purpose is much better than just ditching a training session altogether. There are other things you can do. If you really don't feel like lifting the tin or putting through a bit of weight through your body, then stretch, regeneration, ART, bit of band flexibility work, whatever it is, just do something. Because again, it's all about number 3, that little bit of a mental edge, staying on the ball. There'll be a time to take it off, there'll be time to put it on. And lastly is accountability. It's quite important. I see a lot of lads when they kind of disappear off the radar, if they're not involved in our setup, they lose that element of accountability and their body composition and their body becomes out of shape and deconditioned to play the sport. Particularly as we see in the amateur rugby that we work with a lot, is that there's quite big lulls in the season. Fortunately, it's been improved this year. But there's quite a little bit lulls, and there's times to slip on and off the diet as well. So being involved in some kind of strength training program, it keeps you on the ball, it keeps you focused and in the zone. So those are the reasons why I would strongly advise you keeping up some form of training program or training regime, training structure, and carefully program throughout the season. We have so many methods, and if you'd like to hear about more, get in touch.